Hello, 5th grade math students. This is part 2 of chapter 2.5, dividing by two-digit numbers. When we left off yesterday, I promised you some more complex 3-digit divided by 2-digit problems. Here's our first example. In this problem, we're going to divide 765 by 23. So, what makes this more challenging? Let's try our first step, in which we rounded and then estimated using compatible numbers to try to find our quotient. 23 will round to 20. If we round 765 to 800 in order to estimate our quotient, we get an answer of 40. 800 divided by 20 gives us an answer of 40. Well, wait a moment. That doesn't quite work like our previous examples, does it? In our previous examples, we got a one-digit quotient. We're getting a two-digit quotient now. So we need to use a slightly different technique that calls for dividing the tens before the ones to correctly solve this problem. Because our dividend, 765, is so much larger than our divisor, 23 in this case, we are going to have a two-digit quotient. So in order to solve for that two-digit quotient, we'll begin by simply starting in the hundreds place. Are we able to divide 23 into 7? No, we can't. So we must move on to the next place. Next, we move to the tens column. Are we able to divide 23 into 76? Yes, we are. And we can do that using the same technique we used when dividing two-digit numbers by two-digit numbers in the last lesson. We begin by estimating our quotient by rounding 23 to 20 and then looking for a compatible fact. How many times would 20 go into 76? Well, we can probably estimate 3 times, correct? Because 20 times 4 would be 80, which is too big. So let's try a 4 here. Please note that I'm writing the 4 over the tens column because right now we aren't looking at the 5 in the ones column. We can kind of pretend it's not there at the moment. We're just thinking of this as a two-digit division problem to solve for how many times 23 will go into the 760. We're sort of ignoring this ones column to simplify the problem. Let's see how close we are by multiplying 3 times 23. 3 times 3 is 9. Please note that I'm putting the 9 under the tens column again because we're really dividing 30 by 3. 3 times 2 is 6, which will go under our hundreds column. Now we subtract to see what we have as a remainder. We need to borrow. 16 minus 9 is 7. 6 minus 6 is 0, leaving us with a remainder of 7. But wait, is it really 7? No, it's 70 because it's in the tens column. Now we're going to bring down this 5 from the ones column and decide how many times 23 will fit into 75. Because 3 fit pretty nicely into 76 for us, it's probably a great place to start with 75 as well, correct? So let's try 3 times 23 and solve for our remainder. We'll begin by taking 3 times 3 to get an answer of 9 and 3 times 2 to get an answer of 6. 75 minus 69 will give us an answer of, sorry, we've run out of room here, but will give us an answer of 6. So our final answer for this division problem is 33, remainder 6. Let's try another example that requires us to divide tens before ones to fit a small divisor into a much larger dividend. In this problem, we're dividing 317 by 21. Let's begin by estimating how many times 21 will fit into 31. My estimate is 1. Let's test that out. 1 times 1 is 1. Please note that I am placing the 1 in the tens column. As we're working with our hundreds and tens place, we're not using our ones place yet. 1 times 2 is 2. And now we can see that we have 21 times 110 in this column. Now we subtract. showing that we have 10 tens left over. Our next step is to bring down our 7 in the ones place so that we can complete our calculations. How many times will 21 fit into 107? I'm going to estimate 5 because I know that 20 will fit into 100 5 times. So this is my estimate. Let's test my logic. 5 times 1 is 5. That goes in the ones place. 5 times 2 is 10, which will go in the hundreds and tens place. This number represents 5 21s. Now we subtract. 7 minus 5 is 2, showing us that our remainder is 2. So our quotient is 15, remainder 2. It could also be written 15R2. Now try these problems on your own in your homework notebook. Remember, you need to divide the tens and then the ones in order to solve these correctly. Please show me all of your work so that I understand your thinking. Press pause and I'll be here to teach 4-digit division when you get back. All right, now this gets really fun. We're going to divide 4-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers. We set this up as an L division problem or a long division problem. In this problem, we're going to divide 6,118 by 75. Just as with the 3-digit problems you just completed, we need to start in the tens column and then move to the ones column when dividing this problem. So our first estimate is how many times will 75 go into 611? Because we can see that 75 won't go into 6 and it won't go into 61. So we're going to start by working with 611. So let's estimate a quotient for 611 divided by 75. I'm going to start with 75 as 80. And let's think about a compatible fact that would fit into 611. Well, 8 times 8 is 64. Let's give that a try since 75 is so much less than 80. So let's begin by testing 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Remember, we're going to put our 0 in the tens place because we're dividing into the tens place right now. We need to carry our 4. 8 times 7 is 56. Plus 4 is 60. So we'll put our 60 here in the thousands and hundreds column. Let's subtract this out to find our remainder. And our remainder is 11 tens. Now, to complete our problem, we'll bring our 8 down so that we can solve 118 divided by 75. I think that that's only going to fit once. What do you think? Let's test it out and try it. 75 times 1 is quite simply just 75. So let's put that there and solve. Sorry, I've run out of room yet again. 8 minus 5 is 3. 11 minus 7 is 4. So our answer is 81, remainder 43. Let's work through this sample problem together, step by step. We're dividing 5,149 by 56. We know that our 56 doesn't fit into 5, so we're not going to divide into the thousands. 56 also won't fit into 51, so we're not going to divide into the hundreds place. We're going to start with the tens place, dividing 56 into 514. We begin, as always, by estimating our quotient. Let's round 56 to 60, and let's think about how many times 60 would fit into a compatible fact that's close to 500. Well, let's see. 9 times 6 is 54, so let's maybe give 9 a try. I'll put 9 here over my tens place. So 9 times 6 is 54. Put my 4 in the tens place and carry my 5. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 5 is 50. This answer shows us that we have 56 being equal to 9 tens. Okay, so now we subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0, and 1 minus 0 is 1. Now we carry down our 9 so that we can solve for our ones place. How many times do we think 56 will go into 109? Well, it could be 1 or it could be 2. But I'm going to try 1 because I think that 56 times 2 is going to be bigger than 109. So I'm going to try 1. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5, showing us that 56 times 1 is 56. All right, now we subtract to solve for our remainder. 9 minus 6 is 3. 10 minus 5 is 5. So our remainder is 53. Our quotient is 91. Our remainder is 53. So the answer to our problem is 91, remainder 53. Try these 4 problems in your homework notebook. Please be sure to show me all of your work so that I understand your thinking. What happens if our divisor is significantly less than the dividend when we're dividing 4-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers? Well, in that case, we'll divide by the hundreds, then by the tens, then by the ones. Let's work through an example of this with the problem 5,213 divided by 15. We can see that 15 is going to fit into 5,213 many times, simply because it's such a small digit to begin with. So we'll begin by checking to see where 15 will fit. Can we divide 15 into 5? Nope. So we aren't going to start in the thousands place. Let's move on to the tens place. We are able to divide 15 into 52. So let's estimate what our quotient might be. How many times do we think 15 will fit evenly into 52? Well, I'm going to round 15 to 20 and think about compatible facts. What's a compatible fact that will help me estimate 20 fitting into 60? I'm going to start with 3, and we'll test that out and see how close we are. 3 times 5 is 15. Please note that I'm putting this in the hundreds column because we're working with 5,200. Then I need to carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, giving us 45 hundreds. And we're going to subtract that to find our remainder. Our remainder is 7 hundreds. Now, we'll bring down the digit in the tens column so that we can work with our 71 tens. Now we estimate a quotient for 15 into 71. I'm going to use the estimate of 20 into 80 to give me a good ballpark guess. 20 would go into 84 times, so I'm going to try 4 in my tens column. Let's take 4 times 5 to give me an answer of 20. Cross out this carry so I don't get confused. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Leaving me with a remainder of 11 hundreds. Now I carry down my 3 so that we can work with our 113 ones. How many times do you estimate that 15 will go into 113 ones? Well, I'm thinking I'm going to try 6 because I know that 20 will go into 126 times. So let's see, 6 times 5 is 30. Cross out that 2 and carry my 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9, giving me an answer of 90. 113 minus 90 will be, let's see, 23. Oops, too big, isn't it? Have to go back and try 7. Okay, so let's try again using 7 as my quotient. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 3 is 10. Ah, this looks better, doesn't it? I have to borrow. 13 minus 5 is 8. So our answer is 347, remainder 8. Let's try another sample problem together before you try some on your own. In this problem, we're dividing 6,479 by 36. So we'll begin by looking at our thousands place. Does 36 fit into 6? Nope. So we need to try the hundreds place. Will 36 fit into 64? It most certainly will. How many times? I'm going to estimate once. because I know that 40 will go into 60 only one time, and that's the estimate I'm going to use. So 36 times 1 is 36, which means we have 36 hundreds in this column. Now let's subtract and bring our numbers down so we can begin working with our tens place. We need to borrow here, giving us an answer of 28. And then we need to bring down this 7 so we can begin working with our 287 tens. How many times will 36 go into 287? Well, let's estimate by rounding 36 to 40 and thinking about a compatible fact that would fit into 28. Well, I know that 4 goes into 28 7 times, so I'm going to try 7. 6 times 7 is 42. Our 2 goes in the tens column. We carry our 4. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 4 is 25. So that means we have 252 is equal to 36 times 7 tens. All right, let's subtract so we can begin working with our ones column. 7 minus 2 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. And then we bring down our 9 so that we can begin working with our 359 ones. How many times do we think 36 will go into 359? Well, 36 times 10 would be 360, correct? So our answer must be 9. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 5 is 32. So 36 times 9 equals 324. Let's subtract to find our remainder. 9 minus 4 is 5, and 5 minus 2 is 3. So our answer is 179 as our quotient and 35 as our remainder. Please finish up today's work with these 4 problems in your homework notebook. Each of these problems will require you to work from the hundreds to the tens to the ones to correctly divide and find the appropriate quotient with remainder. Please show me all of your work so I can see your math thinking. I'll see you in the classroom tomorrow morning for more fun with long division.